Up, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special announcement. No, I am not pregnant. No, I am not getting married, as many of you guessed, but it is my last day here at PragerU. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you. And as I said before, we do have a very special announcement today. It is my last day here at PragerU, but it is not only my last day here at PragerU. We got Taylor in Nashville.
We do. And yes, and a completely unrelated note, it is also my last day at PragerU.
Yeah.
But Hamel is not pregnant, but I am not pregnant either.
Oh my gosh. Imagine if Taylor just announced that. That would have been me the first time I was hearing that as well. That actually would have blown my mind. Anyways, guys, we have Cam in the producer's bay.
Hello, everybody.
And today we have much to talk about. We have much to discuss, guys. If you were following me on Instagram and Twitter, you saw the announcement that this is, in fact, my last day here at PragerU. And I'm so happy to have you all here to talk about this exactly. No, the show is not going anywhere, guys. You still get to come chill with us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and watch all of our videos every other day. The YouTube name might change a little bit. My socials might change a little bit. Some of the pictures might change a little bit. And this set that you see behind you, this would be the last time that you see me on this set. You guys are coming into my home. I'm inviting you into my apartment, into my spare bedroom, where we're gonna like chill, have some tea. I've got some lights set up in there and stuff. The set looks cool. We got a little record player in the back. Maybe we'll play some tunes. And that's where the show is gonna be. This is like, we'll call it an independent step. It's a new adventure, and the message is going to stay the same. The content is going to stay the same, if not elevate. We're trying to do some really, really dope stuff with the new videos that we're coming out with and our new editing style and stuff like that. So I'm so excited. And we're not going to skip a beat. So when Monday rolls around, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern, let's not get the times wrong here. You're going to be in my house chilling with me, talking about, you know, all the new trending topics and news stories that have popped up today. And Taylor's going to be there as well.
I'm just watching the emotional roller coaster in the chat, because before you said you're continuing the show and everything, there was a lot of like, no, OMG, what are we going to do? The sky's falling. And now there's like a lot of sighs of relief. So anyways, we appreciate you guys being here, supporting the show. And yeah, don't worry, we will still be here come Monday, but just with a little new look, new stuff.
Yeah, and like drop your suggestions in the chat, because we're going in a whole new direction with this stuff. Of course, we'll be here at the same time every day and all that stuff, but what sort of content do you want to see now that we're moving toward this new step? What stuff do you don't want to see anymore? Let us know in the chat down below. I'll be reading your comments throughout the show today. We are going to do a very, very regular show today, but that was our big announcement. Again, I'm so excited for you guys to see the new space that we're in, and, you know, just launching a new vibe for the show with the same message. We're still going to be talking about free thought, open conversation, making this show somewhat of a safe haven for all the people who actually want to discuss what's happening in today's time, because it's still as turbulent as ever, and I still think free thought and open conversation is needed more so now than it really ever has been before, at least in my life. And that's the message that we're going to continue to bring to you guys, and we hope that you'll continue to support us on this new route that we're going in. At least stick around to see the new stuff we got going on. And with that, today we've got some news stories for you. We're going to be talking about Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas, Rada coming in and giving her thoughts on marriage and divorce. We're talking about Ruby Franke, which is a horrifying, insane story surrounding a YouTube family channel turned child abuse case, which is absolutely insane. And then we're going to put our name in the hat in that Julia versus Matt Walsh debate that was happening on Twitter just a few days ago, because I never really got to discuss that on the show, and that's what we'll get to. So guys, leave all your thoughts in the comments down below. I know we have a lot to process, a lot to take in, but I'm happy to hear from you, and I want to know all your thoughts. First, let's talk Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas. For those of you who don't know, Sophie Turner, famous for playing Sansa in Game of Thrones, which Game of Thrones was a chef's kiss, fantastic, spectacular show. up until the last couple of seasons, but we don't talk about that. We don't reference that. We don't even acknowledge that they exist. Anyways, she played Sansa Stark of the Northern Persuasion, and Joe Jonas, who is famous for being one of the 3 famous Jonas brothers. They've decided to divorce, and after just a few short years of marriage, they also have 2 kids. So this went really viral, crazy, all over the place. There was a lot of speculation as to what happened. It was then announced that Joe Jonas was the one who filed for divorce, and the PR team was working overnight. They were overtime throwing out stories about Sophie Turner. Here's one on the Daily Mail that says Sophie Turner, 27, felt trapped in her marriage to Joe Jonas and wants to relive her youth after marrying and having children young. Friends say she's been downing shots and 6 pounds, right? Is that pounds? 6 pounds 50? Is that pounds or euros? 6 pound 50. 6 pound 50 cocktails in Birmingham days before singer 34 filed for divorce. Now, these stories came out, and we started getting this spin on this divorce that Sophie Turner wants to be out and about on the town. She wants to be partying. She feels like that time was taken away from her. She's been taking care of kids, all this stuff. She's ready to party and relive her youth or whatever. I, myself, was not buying it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't keep that involved into celebrity news, but on the surface, I know quite a bit, I guess I would say. She does not strike me as the out on the town, downing shots lady who's trying to relive her youth. I could very well be wrong, but it seemed like all the PR was coming out anti-Sophie Turner, anti-Sophie Turner. We got another story that says Joe Jonas caught Sophie Turner saying something or doing something on a Ring camera, and that's what precipitated him going and filing for divorce. But every single PR article was clearly skewed in the anti-Sophie direction. Now, it's come out and said that sources tell TMZ that Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner began having problems when he became less than supportive as she struggled with post-birth of their second child and pressured her into attending events. So apparently she had a second child. It wasn't the easiest pregnancy. It wasn't the easiest post-pregnancy. And Joe Jonas wanted her to be out and about, going to events, doing this and that. And she wasn't really feeling like it. And apparently that's what led to the divorce. Y'all, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and speculate about who did what wrong, whose side I'm on, who did what. All I know is that if you ever find yourself in this situation, and I hope that you never find yourself in this situation of having gone through a marriage, having children, and then having a divorce. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. But if you do, don't go drag your significant other through the mud, especially the father or mother of your child, right? I think it's one thing if you're married and you know you don't have children and you end up going down this route of divorce. But as soon as you have children, and even before that, keep in mind, this stuff lasts forever on the internet. Like it's everywhere, and those feelings from what you've said or done or, you know, dragging their name through the mud are going to be there, regardless of how you try to recover. And regardless of how you feel, I would just advise that you zip it and throw away the key, because there's no reason to disparage somebody like this. It seems like what's happening here is that Joe Jonas's PR team went after Sophie Turner very hard to sort of get ahead of the story and put out a specific narrative, and now she is responding and defending herself, so that's a different scenario here. But if I could just urge you, just keep it tight. Shut the mouth and throw away the key, because it's not helpful, right? And it's especially not going to be helpful when your kids grow up, or if they're old enough to understand at the time that you do divorce. They're just going to be watching these two people who they're meant to have, you know, a sort of sacred, trusting relationship with, go at one another. And no matter what's going on, unless somebody's like abusing you or doing something to physically harm you, just keep it chill and try to keep it amicable, at least publicly. That's my advice, because this is not good for either of them.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I'm kind of on the outside looking in on this one. I am not a Jonas Brothers fan and did not know who Sophie Turner was, didn't watch Game of Thrones. So I admittedly, though, think I fell for the psyop because, I'm on Twitter. I'm always looking for stories for the show. And I see this celebrity, woman wants to leave her husband and kids so she can go relive her 20s. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's something to talk about. So then you come to find out that, okay, maybe that is just like a PR angle that Joe's releasing, and she's got her own PR angles now. And it's just this big, giant mess. So I'm used to the psyops coming from the government or World Economic Forum or things like that. Not so much with celebrity news. I didn't know that was a thing that we'd have to be worried about. So live and learn from me. But yeah, I think that your point, though, and your conclusion is the right one, that these parents both seem to be more concerned about winning the PR war over this thing rather than the best interest of their kids, which would obviously be to keep things amicable and not make this giant scene that they're going to have to read about when they grow up. So
yeah, I mean, allegedly there's been some foul play on the part of Joe Jonas. This whole article was published that says, Joe Jonas is taking care of his 2 children whilst on tour, which when I read that, I'm like, you mean fathering his kids? You mean he's being a father, which is what he signed up to do when he decided to have kids. And they posted these photos of him going out to lunch with a friend who's also helping them take care of the kids or whatever. And somebody sleuthed who took the photos, and it's not average paparazzi. It's paparazzi that celebrities hire to go and take photos of them while they're out doing things so they can stage PR, of course, allegedly. Now, if you are taking your kids out to lunch and hiring people to come and take photos of you, that's a little sleazeball, allegedly. So maybe you should not do that. Maybe you should not parade around your kids for the sake of winning a possible PR battle. Who knows what it's going to do if they'll go to court over children in custody and all that. I hope not. You would hope with 2 presumably healthy and of sound mind parents, this would just be a 50-50 split down the middle, as I feel should be the default when you are going through a divorce with kids involved. I don't understand why custody would, skew in either direction unless you live very far apart from each other and your kids wouldn't be able to go to the same school they've always been going to. These are things to take into account. But if you're healthy parents of sound mind, 50-50 split. And that's it. And, I have no idea what the inner workings of their marriage is or what's going on back and forth. But so far, the excuses I've heard of he wanted me to go out more when I was going through a hard time, or, she wanted to go out and party, whatever it is, none of these sound like grounds for divorce reasons or excuses to me. So I am inclined to believe there must be far more going on than what we are being told, and we shouldn't be told. It's none of our business. It's really none of our business. But this is blown up, and people are speculating and calling this person out and that person out. It's just leave him alone, maybe, and don't try to disparage, either of them when we really don't know what's going on, and there's kids involved who are going to grow up and have to look back on this one day. And I can only hope that we will all choose to do the same if we ever find ourselves in this situation down the line in our lives. Now, Emily Ratajkowski, I think that's how you say her last name, came forward and was talking about divorce and being young and going through a divorce. And she had this to say, and we'll listen to it and we'll get your thoughts and I'll give you mine. Let's see. Oops.
Of ladies are getting divorced before they turn 30, and as someone who got married at 26, has been separated for a little over a year, 32, I have to tell you, I don't think there's anything better. If being in your 20s is the trenches, there is nothing better than being in your 30s, still being hot, maybe having a little bit of your own money, figuring out what you want to do with your life, everything, and having tried that married fantasy and realizing that it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be, and then you've got your whole life still ahead of you. So for all of those people who are stressed or feeling stressed about that, about being divorced, it's good. Congratulations. So it seems that...
Okay. I'm going to be charitable here. I think there's, a charitable interpretation of what she said. And essentially what she's saying is if you've gone through the process of marriage and, you end up finding out that that's not for you, or that person is not for you, and you decide to divorce. By the time, you know, you're 30, you still have a lot of life left to live. You could probably find another love, you could make money, you could, she said, establish boundaries somewhere in the text there. And I guess I'm not inclined to disagree if that's the position that you find yourself in. But this whole, like, if you've been divorced by the time before you're 30, congratulations. It's such a wonderful thing. Like, good for you. Now that's when we start to, you know, get out of reality here. And what she's forgetting, I think, is that there is a lot of beauty in achieving the right thing in youth and when you are younger, because you get to grow with somebody and establish your life with somebody and build those values and those boundaries, as she says, and those finances together. And I think that's a beautiful thing if you can achieve that in life. I think more so the message should be, don't hop into a marriage that you know, you may or may not be unsure of. Wait till you're of sound mind and ready for it. And maybe divorce shouldn't be as easy as it is right now. Like, some of the reasons that we're seeing circulate on the internet for getting divorced are kind of crazy. I mean, we did a whole video on this woman who said she leveled up out of her marriage, essentially, and that she started making more money, she got a better job, and she felt like the partner she had chosen to live the rest of her life wasn't leveling up with her at the same rate that she was moving. And she said divorce. And you hear a lot of stories like that. You hear a lot of women say, like, if he's not absolutely Prince Charming, just go ahead and, like, get the divorce while you're still young or whatever. And I just feel like if that's your view on marriage, maybe just don't go into the marriage pool in the first place. Just sit this one out, babe. Sit on the sidelines and figure that out later.
Yeah, I think if anything, it just speaks to just the low place that the idea of marriage has reached, or just how much it's been devalued as a concept. Like, I heard someone say we don't, as a culture anymore, treat anything as sacred or know what sacredness even is. And marriage should be this sacred ideal. It is the highest form of intimacy that two human beings can experience. It's the foundation of a stable, not only relationship, but a home for children and all that. And it's like we talk about the nuclear family unit, it's the foundation of that. And so if a whole society and country is built on the nuclear family and it flourishes in that way, then marriage is kind of the bedrock of that. And so it's bigger than just this attitude of, oh, it's about my fantasy. It's about me being happy and my relationship and this, that, and the other. If that's your attitude going into it, like, good luck, because putting all of your hopes and expectations for your happiness on one person, they're human, they're imperfect, and they're going to fail you. You have to be committed to something higher and have a higher vision than just my happiness and my best life being the end be all end all. Of course, if you're in the right marriage, that'll come. If you're in the right relationship, that'll be part of it. But anyway, I'm kind of ranting here as a married person, but it's just it pains me to see the state of just the way people think about marriage now in our culture, and the attitude that it's really about you. Just, it rubs me the wrong way. And like you said, if maybe it's not for you, maybe you shouldn't go into it if your idea of marriage is just about making yourself happy.
Yeah, because I mean, let's pick a person in your life right now and say, like, we're going to be together for 50 years. 50 years. Do you think 50 years is going to be like all smooth sailing, nothing ever goes wrong, no rough patch? And sometimes you could have a rough patch for a really, really long time. I feel like what's happening right now in marriage, and maybe why divorce rates are so high, is like people are hitting that rough patch, right? And just immediately just bouncing. They're like, okay, I got to get out of here. On to the next thing. Me, selfish, even when you have children. Now, it's one thing if, like, you're married and you don't have kids or whatever, and you decide this is just not working for me. We should probably get out of this, find healthier relationships before we decide to build a family. Full respect there. But if you've, like, been married to somebody and you're like, we have kids and we're just going to bounce because, like, things aren't working out for us, that's going to be so difficult on these children. And I just hope that with the Sophie Turner, Joe Jonas thing, that they're not responsible for some of the PR that's going out about them right now. And I hope they're backing off from this, because your kids are gonna grow up and just get all of this handed right over to them on a silver platter. We did get a $50 super chat, so we gotta read that right now. Can I say the name of this super chat? I don't know if I'm going to say the name of this super chat. It's B word, B word cheeks. Okay. And the super chat says, so now that you're going independent, can I have you on my Rumble asking for a friend? On your Rumble? I don't know what that means. Do you mean like you have a podcast? Hit me up. Email me.
How are you asking for a friend if you want her on your podcast? That's kind of the math's not mathing here.
Email me. We appreciate the support. I'll let you know. And are we going to be on Rumble? Everybody's been asking like, we don't want to support YouTube. Can we go to Rumble or whatever? We are working on having alternatives where we are streaming. But for now, guys, the show is going to be where it's always been. I see a lot of people going crazy in the chat. Y'all are not staying on topic, okay? I'm trying to get y'all back on other topics. But the show is going to be where it's always been. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, wherever, that is where we will be. We just won't be on the PragerU channel. So if you're watching from the PragerU channel right now on YouTube or Facebook, it will be on my channels. That's about it. Virtually nothing is changing for you guys except the set. Maybe the name of this channel is going to change a little bit. But other than that, you're Gucci. Calm down. Everything's going to be all right. Okay? Now we have other news. And this is not going to be a smooth segue because this news is very sad and actually insane. You guys might have heard of the YouTube channel 8 Passengers. That was run by a woman by the name Ruby Frankie, and her channel is called 8 Passengers because it was her husband, and 6 kids, which makes 8 passengers in their little van. And they would have a little 8 passengers bumper sticker on their car. And all their videos were about Ruby Frankie's parenting style and how, wonderful of a mom she is, wrangling 6 kids and dealing with them. And she's talking about her parenting styles. I'm going to show you a video of her said parenting style, and we'll break it down before I get to the larger bit of news and the update on the life of Ruby Frankie.
Hurt. If your kid came to you on fire, would you say, I'm so glad you trusted me to tell me you're on fire, but if I put out the fire, that's going to really hurt and you're going to end up with scabs anyway, so I'm just going to love you where you are right now? No, you throw them on the ground and you start rolling them. You get a blanket and you start hitting the flames. And they're going to say, you're hurting me. You're beating me. You're controlling. It's like, no, dear, hold still. I'm getting the fire out. That's what a loving parent does. And because nobody will do it, it looks to the world crazy. And because they've never been loved before, it looks like I'm angry. To them, it looks like I'm controlling. It looks like I'm militant. It looks like I'm a monster. It looks like I'm mean. It looks like I'm full of hate. It looks like I'm not accepting it because they don't know what love looks like or sounds like.
Okay, interesting analogy. Let's break that down. She said, everything she said is factual in some sense, right? If your kid's on fire, yeah, you got to beat the fire out of your child, essentially, wrap him in the blanket, get him on the floor, roll him over, stomp him around, whatever to get the fire out. And that's all fine and dandy, except you have to figure out what fire means to her in her brain, right? Okay, if fire is your kid's natural personality, if fire is your kid doing normal things that kids do and you feel the need to stomp that out of them, then maybe we have a problem. And if people are telling you that your parenting style looks like you are a militant monster, maybe you should listen to the people and not say, this is my way of getting the fire out. Now, she's been making YouTube videos for quite some time. She had a very successful YouTube channel in 8 Passengers and lots of really avid fans who love to see her and her family watch their dynamic, taking parenting advice from her. And most recently, Ruby Frankie has been arrested, and I believe she's now getting charged with 6 different counts of some sort of felony against children because her 12-year-old son escaped the situation that he was in at somebody else's house, ran to a neighbor's house, and a neighbor found this kid and who was asking for food and water, bound and clearly abused and malnourished asking for food and water. And luckily, this neighbor called the police. I'm warning you, I'm going to show you, and we're going to listen to the 911 call.
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty. And he asked us to call the police.
What's
So
his
he's
name?
very afraid. This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. He escaped.
Well, I'm glad that he was able to make it to
They're on their way.
where he could be safe.
Jody Hildebrand is up there right now.
So yeah, that happened. And that was her 12-year-old boy. And she's been charged with 6 counts. So presumably there was other things going on with these children. And people are saying it's because Ruby Franke got into this relationship with another woman by the name of Jody Hildebrand, a business partnership where they were starting another YouTube channel talking about their parenting style, giving advice on how to deal with kids, and that Jody Hildebrand maybe radicalized her in the direction of being more violent towards her kids. It seems clear in watching some of her videos and of how she treats her children that abusive undertones were playing a part here, and maybe people were just unaware of what was happening behind the scenes. She has videos online saying that she had taken one of her kids' mattresses away from them and had them sleep on, I believe, a beanbag for months at a time as some form of punishment, that she had taken all of her kids' personal belongings, placed them in a bag, and said, "You must buy these back from me to learn the value of money, or we're just gonna get rid of all your personal belongings. Or you can just do work around the house and we'll give you your personal things back." Now, people hear these stories and go, well, that's not the worst thing in the world to do for a child. Maybe they will learn the value of money. Maybe he did something so wrong that, he didn't deserve a mattress. Can we technically call that child abuse? But come to find out, these were warning signs for what was happening behind the scenes to these kids. Now, it gets worse than this. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. Ruby is taken to court. I believe she gets 30 minutes to state her case on this. And instead of owning up to her actions, acknowledging what she's done wrong and taking responsibility for the way that she has treated her children, she's accused her children, and I don't know which one in particular, of, sexually assaulting, family members, other kids or whatever. And that's the reason that she had to, quell the unrest in her home. That's the reason why she had to deal with the kids in this way, allegedly, tie them up, bind them or whatever, leave them emaciated. There's reasons behind what she's done. This is absolutely nuts to me. And I gotta say it, right? We've been talking about internet culture of people putting their children on the internet and using them for views and likes and validation and money. There is a certain type of person that does that. That is not to say that all people who post their kids on the internet are these horrible child abusers and whatnot. But if you are aware of the circumstances surrounding posting child content on the internet, what can happen to your children, what that gives way to for them in a negative way, and you continue to do that, to me, it says something about your personality and who you are. Doesn't mean you're as bad as a Ruby Franke who was doing disgusting, heinous things, but I will say I'm not surprised that a family vlogger on the internet is responsible for, abusing her children in this way, because she's willing to completely ignore free will and consent when it comes to posting them on the internet. Who's to say she doesn't ignore things in other arenas? And this is just so heartbreaking to even think about, because these children have been on the internet for years, which means people have been watching this play out in some way, shape, or form for years without them having agency to do something about it. And to think that it took a 12-year-old boy escaping this house and going to a neighbor to call attention to this and to get some recourse is nuts. But it just goes to show you can see all of these happy family vlogs and, oh my gosh, look at how wonderful of a mother I am and let me teach you my parenting style, all these things. And underneath the surface can be a literal criminal abusing children. Nuts. But
I wonder how much this this is the effect like we've seen before in different social media personalities, where you create this persona and there comes this expectation that, okay, you're the hardcore parent or whatever, and now that just escalates and escalates and escalates, and you create this persona that ends up consuming you and consuming your humanity. Like, my mind goes to, it's a much milder situation, but something like Nico Avocado, the mukbang videos, where he started off this, relatively healthy young person who just started making these videos of him eating, and then ends up just eating insane amounts of food on camera, and this persona just kind of consumes him, and now he's this massive, like, he gained a ton of weight and he's super unhealthy. And Liver King, kind of same path. But you wonder if this is a situation of just the way social media and social media fame or clout can sort of dehumanize you and consume you, and make you do absurd things, or if this seems to be even go a step beyond that, where this is almost like sociopathic level, like just child abuser, even independent of that stuff. And at least, from what we can see. So I don't know, but it's definitely a tragic situation, and social media definitely played a role, and that's something to really be thinking about.
Yeah, it's just wild. I think it exacerbates kind of who you are deep down, and she seemed to always have these tendencies. I think that analogy with like beating the fire out of your child is really, really telling of who she is as an individual. And what is just more sad than anything is that this was not found out sooner. When you go through some of the old videos, of course, hindsight is 20/20 and everything is clearer in retrospect, but you watch these kids and you're just like, oh, you can see it. And especially her business partner, Jody Hildebrand, we'll put her name in there. She has history of being emotionally abusive towards other children who've been in her life. I believe her niece has come forward and accused her of doing a bunch of just absolutely insane things when it comes to children. And this is, again, it just points out children cannot advocate for themselves. Even when they are live on camera speaking to you day in and day out because mommy and daddy are making them do it, they cannot tell you what's going on. Some of them don't even know that this is an act of abuse. And that's just tragic, to be like parading them around on the internet while this is happening. It's just so sad, which again, is so anti-kids content on the internet. And I'm just becoming more and more so as stories like this continue to unfold. And unfortunately, I think will continue to happen in different ways, shapes, and forms as these like child star channels and family vlogging channels continue to go on. And maybe I need to do a whole separate video about this, because this is not like, this is one of the craziest scandals that family vloggers have gotten in, but like, they're no strangers to doing really strange stuff with their kids that should not be acceptable and definitely should not be on the internet. But we'll break that down on a later date. You guys can tell I'm passionate about that. Now, let's talk. Speaking of weird moms on the internet, this video went viral, and you guys can watch it. I don't know what to say about it. It just got millions and millions of views. Here you go. And you're like, aw, like, that's so cool. Like, he won his football game. His girlfriend is wearing the colors. She's like hugging him. That's so cute. Like, oh my gosh, we love a high school sweetheart. Guys, that's his mom. That's his mama. Why? Why? And for those of you who can't see this, this is a kid on the football field in a football uniform being straddled by his mom. Like, he is picking up his mom, and then she's like hugging him, which I think is a little strange. I think it's just a little strange. And she had this video taken and she posted it to her Instagram. The mom did, her doing this to her son. Now there's this whole like internet thing that people talk about, and it's kind of like a subtopic right now on the internet of boy moms and people who are specifically accusing like moms who have boys of this sort of energy. I don't think that's true. I think that's a hasty generalization. But there are certainly some mothers who, like, I don't know, I feel like are kind of like trying to like build a boyfriend when it comes to their son. And you guys can like tell me how you feel about this idea. I sometimes see it where it's like they're trying to build the man that they wish that they had kind of energy. And that's what this video gives me. Like, what are you doing? I can't. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Get up, get up. I can't. It makes me so uncomfortable. But this got like 12 million views. It went crazy on TikTok. It's all over YouTube or whatever. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm actually speechless. Taylor.
Yeah, I think MILF Manor has already reached out to her to lead their next season.
Gosh. Have you guys heard of that show? I think I talked about this show on this on this show. I talked about that show on this show.
Yeah,
MILF Manor. Very weird. And that is the boy mom that I'm talking about. The ones that go on a show like MILF Manor, and she's definitely giving that exact energy here, like 100%.
Someone
Weird.
said reverse Oedipus. That thought did cross my mind. Dude. Yeah, you wonder how much this is like some of the other stuff we talked about today. Is it I'm trying to relive my hot era and I want to be this hot mom image, and it's more you're like consumed with this social media image you're trying to create to where normal, faux pas and normal self-awareness that would prevent you from doing silly stuff like this just makes you go all in on it, and this persona that you're trying to create of a hot mom consumes you, or maybe you're just trying to feel that way inside. I could totally see that being something at work. So but then also it's like again, to your point a second ago, this is another form of child abuse basically, if you're just using a kid as an instrument of your own clout or gratification to feel hot. Like, that's so messed up. Or if you're just into your kid, which is even worse than any of those things. So who knows?
Yeah, it's just really strange. And like, people went and found her social media. This is her social media. She has like a whip of some sort that she has in her profile picture. It says mom of one, single, unicorn. And if you guys don't know what a unicorn is, I don't know that it's my time to explain that to you. Urban Dictionary. A unicorn, at least to my understanding, right? Okay, if you post that you're a unicorn, it means that like, if two people are looking for a third person to engage in activity with, you are like the unicorn who's willing to do that. So she's posting that publicly on her social media, and like, she's clearly trying to be a hot mom. She posted the video on social media of her straddling her son. It's right there. It's right there. It's just really weird. I don't know.
Straight to jail.
Delete it. Straight to jail. Banned off Instagram and straight to jail, because this is just not okay. It's very, very strange. I don't have any other thoughts. I just wanted you guys to share in that strange experience that I had watching that video. Don't do this with your kids. I don't care if you're a hot mom or whatever, or you want to be a hot mom. Do that away from the eyes of your children. Please get off social media. Like, this is so embarrassing. This would be so embarrassing for a kid in high school to have their mom acting like this way, like acting this way publicly on social media. I don't know. For me,
I'll just echo my point. Sorry. I'll just echo my point from a little earlier ago too about this whole idea of things being sacred, like parenting and your children are sacred. That relationship is sacred. Marriage is sacred. Like, if we had that attitude and those values, then I don't think all these topics that we'd be talking about today, we wouldn't be talking about them, because we wouldn't have these crazy problems. But whenever everything's just about you and your vainglory, your happiness, whatever, then nothing's sacred, and everything's an instrument to benefiting you. And I can't help but think that a lot of the dysfunction that we're seeing in all these different stories today just come from a breakdown of just very fundamental things of like not treating things with the reverence that they deserve.
Yeah, and you I don't know how you like reinvigorate that in somebody who has already like made the choice to go down that path, but somebody needs to do it. Somebody reach out to her and help get the message out, because it's just so strange. Now, speaking of leading a maybe self-centered life or a me-focused life, there was some internet drama that happened between a young woman by the name of Julia and Matt Walsh. And I wasn't able to give my take on this. It was just happening all over Twitter. People had different takes. People were siding with Julia. Others were siding with Matt. Let's see if we can decipher this. So Matt Walsh on September 3rd posted this video of Julia, and he said, quote, "Her life doesn't revolve around her family and kids, so instead it revolves around TV shows and pop stars. Worst of all, she's too stupid to realize how depressing this is." Now, very strong message, so we'll see. Let's watch the video and give our thoughts.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone and I saw a picture of shakshuka and I thought, you know what sounds really good? Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries. So I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
Okay, so that's a video. I mean, my first thoughts are definitely have had days like that. We've all had days like that where we just want to chill. You want to wake up late. You watch some TV. You make a new dish or whatever. That's totally fine. I could do without the small. I think she gave small digs at people who make the choice to get married and have kids. I think you can talk about this life maybe without juxtaposing it to people who choose to have, a family and children. I don't know that I would be as aggressive as saying it's depressing. It's certainly not. If this was my day in and day out every day, and if my life looked like what she just described every single day, I personally would not be fulfilled. But all the power to you. If that's what you want in your life, you know what? I think if you are a me-focused person who wants to chill out all day or go to the grocery store and make stuff for yourself, and you don't want to worry about taking care of kids or having to take on the care of loving another person like a husband or something like that, by all means, don't push yourself into a life where you do that, because you're going to harbor resentment and it's going to create a bad situation for probably everybody involved, and especially children. So if you're not on that track in life and that doesn't sound, pleasing to you, then don't do it. But also, I'm not sure that a life packaged of shakshuka and TV shows and, Beyonce concerts is the best thing in the world. Ideally, my future life has a little bit of both. You got your family and your kids at the forefront, and that's the priority. Sure, you can watch your TV show every now and then, and as she does acknowledge, you can do all these things with kids and a husband. You just prefer not to. I can see where the internet would go crazy on a video like this with what she said, but also I'm to each their own. Charlize their own.
Yeah, I think the problem is her tone wasn't really to each their own. It was kind of more little bit of
my life's better.
Yeah, snide. If you've chosen this other path that I'm not on, then you're bad. But look, I think there are happily married people and unhappily married people. There are happily single people and unhappily single people, and maybe she's happy as a single person, but this feels like you're almost trying to persuade yourself and persuade us that you're fine. And look, to the degree that this is just hey, I'm feeling down on myself for not being where I actually want to be, but I'm going to remind myself that, hey, I have so much freedom and things that I can appreciate now because of the season of life that I'm in, then, that's a fine message. And I think if you're in that single season, then it's good to remind yourself and enjoy all the benefits that are associated with that. But to the way that she brought it and the tone, it just kind of felt it doesn't sound like you're actually very happy with this. And it doesn't sound like you're happy that other people are happily married or something. It just seemed like there's an air of bitterness to it. And also, last thought is she's talked about how society is telling me to do all these other different things. And it's maybe your grandma is at Thanksgiving dinner, when are you going to get married? But generally speaking, if you look at pop culture, mainstream culture, all films, everything that's out there today, social media, it's no one's telling you to get married and have kids. That is not the thing that people are pushing these days. It's not the cool, trendy, mainstream thing to do. So to pretend like society's putting all this tremendous pressure on you, no, they're putting pressure on you to do what you're doing, but it doesn't seem like it's really authentic.
Right. It's like, girl, if anybody's putting pressure on you to do that, it's biology. It's literally your body. Your body is going to continuously remind you as you like inch closer to the realm of not having this possibility. Your body is going to continuously remind you like, hey, you thought about having kids? Hey, you thought about having, finding that man who's going to, do that for you at some point, because we don't really have all that much time left to do these things. And then they go, oh, society is pressuring me. I can't believe society is putting on this such a great amount of pressure on me to have children. I'm like, baby girl, no, that is your own freaking hormones telling you that maybe this should be a consideration, because society isn't telling you nothing. I don't know. Cardi B is telling you you got a WAP or something like that, and that and that you should just be sleeping around with as many men as possible and taking no responsibility for yourself or whatever. But I don't know, as you said, Taylor, that society is screaming from the rooftops that women need to have children. Like, this is not, it was probably the worst time you could possibly be making the argument that society is telling you to have children. I mean, they're saying like, be the aunt who spoils your nieces and nephews, go travel, go get your bag, go on a yacht, go to Italy or whatever. Matter of fact, don't have kids because climate change. It's better for the environment that you don't have kids. We're overpopulated, all these different things. I'm trying to think of a mainstream person who is telling women that like, you should have kids. I mean, recently Sydney Sweeney said she wanted to be a young mom, probably much to the disgust of a bunch of like young feminists, but I can't think of people who are actively pushing that. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe a couple of celebrities who are talking about, the wonders and their own wants to have children, but nobody pushing it.
Yeah, the M. Ratajkowski take is the much more common one, it seems like, which she was like, oh yeah, I tried marriage, whatever, that wasn't really for me, but now I've still got my youth and beauty and I'm going to live my best life now as an independent woman. It's like, okay, you do you, but it's the attitude, really. Looks like we got another super chat, $50 super chat. We read those immediately. Says, so now that you're no,
I think it's the same one.
Same one. Did he repeat it?
I don't think so.
The times, okay.
I think it's just going out of the
bar is completely one color now, and it wasn't like a gradient, so I thought it was a new super chat, but it's actually just the old one. Sorry, guys. We got double your money's worth. B cheeks.
B cheeks. Now, Julia responded to Matt Walsh. Let's see her response, because of course a lot of people came for her on the internet, as happens when your video goes viral like this. Here's what she had to say.
Hi, my name is Julia and I'm 29 and single. Yesterday, someone named Matt Walsh decided to repost a TikTok video that I posted to his 2.4 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. And the way that his followers bullied me in the comments, reached out to me on social media, threatened me, was honestly abhorrent. Some of his followers said that I was going to die alone. I should actually die and never leave my house. I should be sexually assaulted. I'm pathetic. I'm a whore. And that I was dead behind my eyes. Honestly, that one kind of made me laugh because I use Kosas concealer and I thought that it was working. No, but really, if you haven't watched the video, I suggest you watch it. It's all about how I, a 29-year-old single female, decided to spend my Saturday watching reality TV, learning how to cook shakshuka, and sleeping in until 10 a.m. And these people were really, really, really riled up about my choices on a Saturday. But here's the thing about social media. While it can be a really crazy place, which I experienced yesterday, it's a place where there's content for everyone. Here's who I'm creating content for. I'm creating content for people who are taking their time creating the lives that they want for themselves. Because it's the life that they want, not something that society has deemed correct. People who are feeling anxious in life because they haven't met their person yet or started a family, aren't rushing or settling to meet someone because some internet troll is telling them that they're going to die alone. And you know what? There's a 40 to 50% divorce rate in the US. And I believe that figuring out who you are first and foremost and meeting your partner at that point is going to decrease that divorce rate. And if you're lucky enough to have the family and friends and support that I do, none of us are going to die alone. And I believe that we're all going to meet our people, and we're going to do it living life by our own terms. Life's too short to be living life figuring out what Matt Walsh wants us to do, or what some internet troll behind their keyboard is saying. If anyone is wondering, the shakshuka I made was delicious, and I'd love to share the recipe if anyone's interested.
Okay, I mean, I agree in large part with a lot of what she said, except for the fact that you don't acknowledge that you were actively disparaging people in your original video who chose, marriage and kids or whatever, and doing those little digs towards their life choices. So is your channel really about people creating their own lives? I also have qualms with this idea that you're supposed to completely figure out who you are before you you get a significant other, or you go into marriage. Because one, who ever fully figures out who they are? And like, when does that ever happen for anybody in human existence? I feel like the whole entire like eternity of our human journey on this earth is to figure out who we are, and we're constantly like learning new things every single day about who we are. For me personally, my view of like marriage or long-term relationships, whatever you decide to engage in, is this idea that we're going to go on this journey together to try and find more stuff out about ourselves and grow together and learn together. And oftentimes, I think people get this confused because now we're in this like world where people are waiting to like 30, 35, 40 to get married and do these sorts of things. I feel like when you are younger and malleable, that's some of the best time to like learn and grow with a partner. And I heard Ben Shapiro talk about this recently on a podcast that he did, and I forget what the name of it is. I think it was Iced Coffee Hour. When you're like malleable and you're not like set in stone yet and have like these strict like boundaries about who you are as a person, what works for you or whatever, and you meet somebody who's in that similar stage in life or has that similar viewpoint, you guys can like grow together and learn what works for you, learn what you have strong feelings about, learn what you guys care about, what life you want to have with each other. And as long as you agree on the fundamentals of like, this is what I see my future entailing, these are the values that I want to live by, this is, you know, what I feel like I need to have integrity towards in life, and those things match up, you have a lot of room to like grow and change. We all know that like if you get married, the person that you're marrying now in 2023 might not be the same person you're talking to in 2028, because we all shift and grow, but the point is to shift and grow together and to like sign up to go on that journey together through thick and thin and rich and poor and healthy and you know sick, all those different things. So now girls are convinced of this idea that like, you have to know exactly who you are. You have to love yourself 100,000% and love every piece of yourself. And also he has to love every single thing about you and be a perfect Prince Charming. And there must be nothing wrong with him. And if there's one thing wrong with him, ew, that's an ick. That's a red flag. You need to leave him. You can't marry a man like that. And it's just like, baby girl, if that's your view of marriage and relationships, good luck. I mean, it's no wonder the divorce rate is 40, 50%, because your vision of what that is meant to look like departs from reality in like a large part. And if you're going to depart from reality in this way, of course you're going to be shocked when you go through a rough patch. Of course you're going to be shocked when like 10 years down the line, oh, he's changed a little bit. He has a different opinion on this than like what we had before. Or, like, we're disagreeing more on this and that. Or we're bickering as people who have known each other for like 10 years do. And, you know, these things are all natural, but if you can't see yourself like through them and out of them, then yeah, the divorce rate's gonna be high as hell. Damn. But yeah, I mean,
what you honed in on was also the thing that stuck out to me in her little speech was, you know, she said, we're gonna meet our people, but living on our terms. And I think that if you're looking at marriage, if you're looking at divorce, I mean, the divorce rate is so high because people go into the marriage with an attitude of, you're going to be my person, but only if it fits with me living on my terms. And that's not how marriage works. Marriage is willingly sacrificing a lot of what you stood to be on your own in order for the two to become one. And you're creating something new and different. And that is, you're now joining yourself to this other person for life. And what you stand to become in the future is part of together, is doing that together. And that is inherently sacrificial because you're accepting some boundaries. It's like when you grow up and you pick a certain career path or pick a college major. When you're young, everything's infinite possibility. When you get older, you're accepting different boundaries, but those boundaries unlock higher levels of existence and deeper meaning and, you know, just better things for you. Now, if it's the wrong person, all those pitfalls are still there. But right. Just to enter into the attitude, to think that you're going to meet your forever person, but also having the attitude that life is completely about me. And to me, it's that same video that we reacted to a while back of that woman who was like, well, I got married, but then I just grew so much and I just leveled up and the guy wasn't really matching me anymore. So it was good for the season, that it benefited me and gave me a nice partner for that time. But now I'm going to continue. Like, that's where you're going to end up if you have that attitude where your happiness and yourself is the be all end all of everything. But if you're going into it like wanting to experience something more meaningful, wanting to build something that's bigger than you, be a part of something that's bigger than just you, then now you that's unlocks what everything that marriage can be. So I don't know, that's my little spiel on that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a whole different view, and maybe that was just kind of like lost in translation, and I don't know, somewhere that got lost in what these things could be, or like what the potential you have the younger you get. And I'm obviously not advising like minors get married or anything like that, but just like if you can meet somebody young that you like can agree on those things with and go on that journey with, and it's not always going to be an easy journey, as it wouldn't be for anybody at any time. Like it's never always going to be smooth sailing in life. We're always going to have to deal with stuff. You want to find the partner who can take you through that together, and like you're the best matched team to possibly deal with the woes of life. That's the goal. That viewpoint, we just need to work on shifting that a little bit. But hey, if Julia wants to freaking make shakshuka and watch TV shows, girl, do that. That's fun for you, and you feel fulfilled and happy. The one thing we need in the world is like fulfilled, happy, content people, and that's what makes for the best society, in my opinion. So if that's what works for you, works for you. Guys, we're going to get into super chats. I know you guys have a lot to say in the super chats.
Let's do it. So many questions.
So many questions. Yeah. And if you have any other major questions, since today is a big day, you can drop them in the chat down below because I've seen some questions circulating that a lot of people are asking the same thing. So we'll go through some of them.
All right, let's start off with Maggie. Catherine says, "You scared me. I thought this was a finale announcement. Look forward to seeing what you have in store. I appreciate your content so much. Keep it up."
Thank you. Yeah, it's not the finale, guys. We're back Monday at the same time, baby. New set, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Mason says, "I remember when the original show, when it was Will, Amal, and Taylor. Do you guys still keep in touch with Will?" I send him Lord of the Rings meme. We exchange those every now and then, but that's about it. But yeah, thank you for being around since the beginning. That's an OG.
Yeah, all the OGs. I hope the OGs stick around to see what we got. You guys are gonna see this show go through like so many different phases, and you know, all over the place. So just a new one.
Places. We already got B Cheeks, so thank you. I'm gonna get you a third round of attention here. Sophia Alexieva says, "Hello, Amala. You're such an inspiration to me, a 19-year-old Ukrainian girl. I wish you all the best and many more millions of subscribers. With love."
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for watching from Ukraine. Oh, she's giving in pounds, so maybe she's in the UK now, but we appreciate you, Sophia. Alexander Gray says, "Be honest, did Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring poach you and Taylor? What will happen to Cam? No child left behind."
Cam, so we're all gonna still be in LA. You're still gonna be here. Cam's gonna be chilling in her PragerU. Taylor is coming with me, and there's no Daily Wire, there's no Rumble, there's no movement to another place. It's just independent is where we're going. It's literally a team of two. It's me and Taylor, and we're gonna be chilling and doing all this together.
It's just our Declaration of Independence today, guys.
Yes.
I'm gonna play that American Eagle sound that's on TikTok with the flag.
My pronouns are USA.
I said, "Kim, where's the sound effect and the cool, visual on screen of the American flag or something?"
I would try to imitate it, but it's going to be embarrassing, so I will.
I can't do it right now.
Are you guys firing me on the last day?
Yeah, Cam's walking out with a cardboard box after this. He's done.
Ironically, you are, but anyways. Let's see. Sugar Cookie says, "I got married after high school. 20 down the road, I realized my priorities were children and home. For him, it was him. Our divorce was amicable, mainly because he got what he wanted." Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. It's hard when like you've made an agreement and there's so much room for somebody to go like, I no longer agree with the agreement that we made. And that, I can't prescribe what you would do with that situation. If you no longer agree about like what the future looks like, what's good for you, what's good for your children, then you have to. Like, what else are you going to do? And it just becomes a harmful situation for everybody involved. So that's where I kind of like sympathize with the Emradas of the world, if that's what she's talking about. If that's the situation that she's referring to and that she got out of, then like Godspeed, good for you. But if it's more of like I wanted her to go out more, she wanted to like party more or whatever, and that's why we got divorced, it's just like, ugh, come on. Like, let's start adulting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm super, I know I've been vocal and I'm like super pro marriage, obviously, but I'm also, I hope my criticism, I know how difficult it is, and I know to like find the right person, what a huge decision it is and all that. And it's a lot more complicated than just like, marriage is great, go do it. So,
Right.
I don't want to come off as like, there's plenty of pitfalls and plenty of stuff that can go wrong. But I guess I'm trying to aim my criticism at attitudes that lead to the high divorce rate, attitudes that lead to unsuccessful and unhealthy marriage, or just the decline of what marriage ought to be in the first place. So anyways, hopefully I'm not coming off as judgy or anything, guys. The Dawn says, hi Amala, I recently discovered your show and finally caught a live. I'm sad to see you leave PragerU, but also excited to keep watching your new content. Keep being your unapologetic self.
Thank you guys. And yeah, we most definitely will. Like I said, the message of the show is not changing. If anything, it's broadening, and we're gonna do some very, very cool stuff, and hopefully, you guys will stick around to see it.
B Cheeks again says, do you believe mothers are more worried about their own success over their kids? I believe mothers need to lay low from the spotlight and not chase clout, because they should focus on being good mothers, not bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do feel like there's so many sides to this. I think some people think, well, my own success is going to be a direct reflection onto my kids, and I want to make that clear. Into that, I'm like totally sympathetic. Other people are just like, oh yeah, kids are like an accessory to my success, which is like what these family vloggers are doing and people who are posting their kids on TikTok. It's really strange to like treat your kid as like a little avatar for your life, and others live vicariously through their kids. Like I'm one that's like, I'm not gonna like force my kid to go down a path of something that I wasn't offered as a child simply because I feel like I want to like live vicariously through my kid. They're gonna have a lot of like choice for where they want to go, what they want to do, and things like that. Not total free reign, but like allow your kid to be their own person. And I feel like that's going to put them in the healthiest position as adults. If you don't allow for that space for your kids to ever know who they are, I think it's going to be a very tough road. And that's what the Ruby Frankies of the world are doing. Just completely abusing their kids, mentally, physically, and in all the ways that you can. And how that goes into adulthood, I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah, and I'll just say there's plenty of mothers out there who are successful and in the spotlight in their careers or whatever it may be, and that's not an inherently bad thing. Where it becomes bad is whenever you're using your kid as an instrument to your success or to your clout or whatever, not just happening to wanting to grow your career and grow your public profile, if that's part of who you are and what you're doing. But it's the willingness to use your kids or like let their best interests become subservient to your career or whatever. That's where we get into hot water.
Right. Like one of the things I love about like Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas is like, you haven't seen their kids up until this point. Like now it's getting a little murky or whatever, but like who would have known what those kids look like or whatever? Like there's other actors and actresses who do the same, like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. What do their kids look like? I have no idea, and I do not care, and I do not want to know, because that's supposed to be like a whole separate thing. Like you shouldn't make your kid something just because that is what you are, if that makes sense.
AVJR says, Amma, since you want to do your own thing, are you going to interact on the Discord? They're doing a Q&A there. Thank you for being a wonderful young woman.
Yes, so we are going to be, active on the Discord, and that's going to be a whole new thing. At least for me, going on there regularly and, chatting with you guys. Maybe we'll do some Discord events and stuff like that. There's going to be a ton of stuff that we get rolled out for just a more personal vibe, right? Other than you guys chilling in my house 3 times a week.
Sounds weird when you say it like that.
Yeah.
But cool. Mason says, this is why family channels are terrible. People end up making money off their children.
Yep. And then it's just like, oh, let's do more of this. Let's put them on camera more. And then it's like, with children, they're going to have moments where they're like, why are you filming me? If I was a child being filmed, as insecure as I was when I was younger, that would have been horrendous for me in my upbringing. To have these moments of your life where you are not even like fully aware of your surroundings, let alone like anything else going on and who you are, and all of that is published on the internet for the public to view and like watch you grow up, is crazy. And even with child stars who are actors, it's like a crazy thing to watch a child grow up in front of you, even though they're acting. Like these We have not yet gone through the ethical discussions necessary to make a decision on these things, but the decision's already been made that it's allowed. So here we are.
Yeah, and the internet YouTube families are like the new John and Kate +8, which became Kate +8, and maybe the Duggars and that. It's like, is anyone checking in on how those kids are doing?
Yeah.
'Cause I can't imagine. I mean, hopefully they're doing great.
Hopefully.
But
Yeah.
it would be despite being thrust into the spotlight like that.
Right.
Daniel Santana just sends a super chat, no message.
Thank you.
Daniel. Dark Inertia too says,
Inertia.
Amla, I must know what kind of Strat is that guitar in the background? I love the color, but never seen a Squire or Fender like that.
You know what?
Always wondered this whole time. Good luck in the next
It's literally
chapter.
like a Squire Kids electric guitar. That is a little baby guitar. It's not even like a real size. Like, and people are always like, can you play the guitar on the show? Well, not really, because the strings are like flimsy AF and there's no amp or anything, so you wouldn't be able to hear it. But yeah, it's a little baby guitar off of Amazon. So I don't know that you'll find the adult size for that. On the new set in my house, we do have my acoustic guitar. It's going to be on the wall and it will be playable. So maybe we'll do some like Music Monday streams on Instagram, bring those back for you guys. Maybe we'll do some music on YouTube as well. So I'll actually have a playable guitar for you guys.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler.
It's a little tease.
Little tease.
Maggie Catherine says, it feels like enmeshment/emotional incest. Google it. My mom/son relationships like this happen a lot and often cause problems for future relationships.
They really do. I've heard of like some really crazy moms where their son gets a boyfriend where their son gets a girlfriend, not a boyfriend, sorry. Some of them probably do get boyfriends, but the son gets a girlfriend and the mom is just like catty and goes after them like she's some sort of like ex-girlfriend. It's kind of nuts, a little crazy. I get being like skeptical and wanting to, investigate the new girlfriend and get a vibe for whether or not she's a good person if your son's going to be hanging out with them. But then like, they're like mothers who talk about it as if like their heart has been broken by their son getting a girlfriend. And to me, that is a little concerning. Just a little bit.
Zeke Sutton says, I don't think it's a dig at women and more of her stating that she doesn't want to be put in the box society puts her in.
Yeah, I got that vibe, but it was also like, I don't have to pay for a babysitter. Like, I don't have to worry about like some kids running around and waking me up early in the morning or whatever. And it's like, okay, we get it. We get it. You don't have kids. And that's totally cool. Other people want that, and that's fine. It definitely did not deserve all of the friggin' humdrum it got all over the internet and how many people were talking about it. It did not deserve that whatsoever. To me, I would have seen that video on TikTok and been like, oh, okay, innocuous, keep scrolling or whatever. I certainly wouldn't have like posted and been like, look how stupid.
Zeke Sutton again says, and to your point about society doesn't push motherhood, it depends on the region of America you're in and what religious group you're in.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
true.
Well, definitely. I just think at large, it's certainly not happening. I mean, like, if you're kicking it in Utah, then probably the message is motherhood, motherhood, motherhood. But certainly not here.
Yeah, and this girl in particular struck me as someone who lives in like LA, Chicago, New York, like urban woman, Sex in the City. Like,
Right.
I don't know, but
Modern
maybe
girl.
maybe she's in the Bible Belt buckle of it, and people are crushing her in her left and right. So
Yeah.
Cameron Campbell says, here's a big tip to celebrate your last day. Thank you, Cameron.
Oh, thank you.
Sup, my dude, a regular here, says, question, Amala, is the reason you and PragerU are mutually parting ways is because the 1975 blaring in the workplace was too much for them to bear?
Oh my gosh. No, it's not. But coincidentally, I'm going to see the 1975 when I come back to LA, and I just got my tickets and I'm so excited. I'm taking my bestie Risa because she's never seen them live before. I don't really think she listens to their music. And I am going to have such a good time. For all you 1975 haters out there.
I'm going to enjoy it even harder.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it even harder. It's my second time seeing them on like this particular tour, the 1975 at their best. And I am so very excited to go watch the show again.
Well, you'll have to report on what woke stuff Matty Healy says in between songs.
He might, yeah.
So you know it's coming.
Either way, suck it if you hate the 1975.
Alex Santias says, hey there, gang. I'm excited to see what new doors open for you guys. By the way, start buying cat food stock now because there was a study done by Morgan Stanley saying that 45% of women are going to be single by 2030.
Ah, I get what you're saying. Ha ha ha. I really want a cat. I have a Ring camera, so I get all these notifications from like neighbors in the area who like found a lost cat or like found a kitten, and there's constantly like little kittens popping up there, and I always am like fighting the urge to be like, I'll take it. Let me come pick it up. So I really want one. Just thought you guys should know that. Just thought I should put that out there.
It's a slippery slope. I'm like ready for a second one now. And when I was dating my wife who had a cat who's now my cat, it's like I was not into it. I was a non-pet person, but maybe dogs if anything. But I've been converted now.
I feel like men are just like that. Like my
buddy.
grandfather, I had kittens at the old place that I was living in Florida because my cat had kittens, and I was like, okay, we got to get these kittens to their new homes. We got them a bunch of new homes. We had 2 left over, and my grandpa was like, I don't want a kitten, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you're going to take these 2 kittens. They're perfect for you, whatever. He's like, I don't need a cat running around my house or whatever. We've had enough pets in our time. And then he gets this cat that's just like chilling on his lap and hanging out with him all day. And each cat like picks their person or whatever. And he loved it. The man loved it. So it's always how it goes. So ladies, get the pet anyways. Your man's going to love it.
Yeah. Weekly cat cafe with Amala coming soon.
Exactly.
Let's see. Frank. Oh wait. Wow, I lost my place here. Let's go to Sugar Cookie. Says, no, he was a musician and gone a lot. I still cared about him, but the love was gone. When he passed away from cancer, I was heartbroken.
Oh wow, that is devastating, and that is very, very sad. So it sounds like you guys broke things off just because the career paths and things were getting in the way. I'm sorry for your loss. Wow, that's rough.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a tough one to transition from. Cameron again says collab with Brett Cooper? ?
Maybe one of these.
Still in the cards, guys. Still in the cards.
All things are possible. All things are possible if we unite together.
Franklin says, I've enjoyed your shows. Best of luck for the future. Definitely looking forward to the Taylor Show trademark. I knew my Taylor face tattoo wasn't done in vain. Also, shout out to the Biospirit of the West.
If one of you got a face tattoo of Taylor, that would rock my world. Don't do it, first of all, but if you did, that would be the most insane news I think I've ever heard in my life. A lot of you were immediately like, is Taylor going? Where's Taylor going to be? Taylor's chilling. He's chilling.
Yeah, to my throngs of fans, I had to make an Instagram story announcement to reassure all 5 of you. So thank you guys. No, someone made a mug with my face on it one time, so that's probably the most flattered I've ever been.
Yeah.
Let's see. Aaron Gaden says California AB5 and Department of Labor contractor misclassification rule. Tyranny. Please don't forget. Love you guys. Rock on going forward.
Dude, there were so many words I immediately forgot. I don't know.
Department of Labor independent contractor misclassification rule. It sounds like some BS tax thing.
We'll have to look that up.
Oh, misclassifying employees as independent contractors. Okay.
Oh, I did see an article, I think with like Forbes or whatever, that said like independent contractors are getting screwed over or something. I don't know. I'll have to look.
It's rough out there. Thanks for the heads up.
It's rough out there for us independents, am I right, guys?
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
It's been a whole 0 days of being independent. Alex again says, Amala, a while ago you disagreed when I said the dating problem is 90% women's fault and 10% guys' fault. These women are choosing to be single even if they don't get screwed over by the Horacio type.
I don't know, man. I don't, 90% is just really large. I don't know. I think women would be flocking to men if men were meeting, their needs in that way. Now, you could argue that their needs and standards are far, going cuckoo crazy right now, but I still think there's just like normal, average, everyday women who are still looking for normal, average, everyday men. Maybe someday I will be convinced otherwise. I just can't believe that like the videos that I see on the internet are, totally indicative of what is going on, because like I'm working at a place where there's hundreds of girls who work here at PragerU, and they're all in their 20s, early 30s, whatever, super cute, single, looking for guys, and they all share the same values and are out there, where's my man at? so where's their man at is my question.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite so bleak. And maybe a little closer to 50-50 there.
Yeah, maybe I would even go 65, 65-35. Maybe it's 65-35.
I mean, yeah, we do live in what's the opposite of a matriarchy? We live pretty much.
Yeah, dude, my best friend Risa is super hot, single, looking for a guy who's gonna just be normal, smart and normal. And here in LA, it's just where are they? You meet a guy and it's just red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. Probably subscribes to OnlyFans and stuff. It's just weird. Or they paint their nails. It's really strange.
Could throw a PragerU staff mixer on your way out.
We should do speed dating on this show.
Cam's over there sitting what the heck, man?
Dude, I would love to mediate a speed dating session. That would be awesome. If we could somehow coordinate that happening on this YouTube channel, that would be...
record it and put it on the internet, of course.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
You don't just do things.
That would be amazing.
I still can't believe Horacio is a cliche on this show now.
He is. He's going to stick around. Horacio, however you say it, he's going to be one of our inside jokes.
A legend, just like Cam's mustache will be forever with us.
Cam Higby PI.
Last day.
We got $100 super chat from,
oh wow, crazy!
A difficult name to read. Maybe I can't.
Nabajay or Uharangi. Uharangi.
That sounds right to me. But thank you so
Nabajayu
much.
Harangi. I hope I said that right. Thank
Sending
you.
us out with a bang.
Yeah, what wonderful. Thank you. That is so nice for you to give
Almost got to pay for her new cameras and stuff. So, that's you're investing in the future.
I actually cannot wait for you guys to see the new set because I feel like it's very chill vibes. And it's going to be very, very fun. Hopefully you're not disappointed. Don't be disappointed. Am I hyping it up too much? Tell me what to say, guys.
You need the deniability. It's not like I totally planned it out all by myself and designed it and bought everything and put it all together.
Right.
If you guys don't like it, it's someone else's fault.
Yeah, exactly.
So vulnerable. Genevieve says, "Why leave PragerU?"
Just because it's
throwing it out there.
Dude, it's time. It's been 2.5 years. I'm the baby bird must leave the nest, as they say. Also, I just feel like, it's a cool time to just be creative and do so in independence. And I think it's going to be awesome. When you see the direction that we've gone in the show, I hope you are happy with it. So yeah, it's just about that time, ain't it? I've never been the person to stay too long in one place. Not to mention, not to say that this show's going anywhere or anything like that, but I need to shift things around, change things up. And now's the time to change things up, baby.
Yeah, and I'll just say it's less about leaving PragerU and more about stepping into this new season and everything it can be. And so it's exciting in that regard. Of course, it's a bittersweet day. I've been at PragerU 3.5 years, and I'm really grateful for the time there and a lot that people I've met and things I learned and things I grew in. But this is just time. It's the different chapters happen, and you kind of go on an arc in each new chapter, and once it hits maturity, it's time. And so I'm excited.
Yeah.
No bad blood though, if that's what you're looking for. Sorry to disappoint.
Sorry, guys.
Let's see. I actually live, Bubbies says, I actually live in Utah and the vibe here is insane. There's so much toxic family pressure here to get married and have children before you're 25.
I can only imagine because I've been to Utah on many an occasion, and especially around the college crowd of people, and the dating culture there, that's wild. The amount of dates that y'all go on, I'm like, wow. And but it seems to work for some. And I think that's cool. Whatever floats your boat, And if that's going that direction, by all means, have at it.
Have at it. But I can share a little bit here. I was lived in deep south and in a very Christian community. I was working and lived for a church, and like my whole life was in this church environment, kind of like super traditional conservative. And there was the community there was kind of weird in the sense that like the leaders of the youth ministry and stuff were like really involved in who's dating who, and you'd have to like talk to their leader before you're asking them out, and just like quasi cult level stuff. But it was very like pro marriage and pro relationship, but because it was so like micromanaged and so like heavily pushed, and it was so about like the culture and norms, it wasn't about like people authentically connecting with one another and like actually being themselves. It was all within the context of this weird sort of framework that we were in. It didn't really produce a lot of successful relationships, and I spent a lot of time dating in that world, and found that when I ended up going down the dating path with these girls, it was like we didn't have anything in common beyond the fact that we were both in this little weird environment, and it was just like so artificial and didn't work. It didn't work in real life, and I thank God I didn't like commit too soon to something. So again, trying to just give a little bit more, credit to, I understand that it's not the simplest thing in the world. It's not just like, oh, marriage good, yay, go do it. So
yeah, dude.
Anyways.
And like there's crazy people out there, both men and women, who can act a certain way that seems perfect for you for a really, really long time. Like it is crazy nuts the amount of people that I've heard like change on a dime as soon as they like get to what they want, and what they want could be like marriage, could be kids, and then you're dealing with a totally different person after they've achieved the goal they set out to achieve. So plenty of room for the little psychos out there.
But it's going to be fine. You're doing it.
But everything's going to be fine.
Sophia says, what's your opinion of 1975 being banned in Malaysia and Indonesia for speaking out about gay rights and kissing on stage?
It was dumb. It was dumb. That is my thought on that. Like, why would you go and do that? And even like the left-leaning activists in Malaysia were like, dude, we wanted to have a music festival. You didn't need to come and like assert your own political opinions on these people. Now, of course, he has free reign to do whatever it is that he wants to do, but like, read the room. And the room was not read. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, especially since they got the whole music festival shut down by like their pretty strict government over there. Bad choice. Like there's a time and a place for your activism, and maybe it's not the time where thousands of people have paid hundreds of dollars to come and see you, and then you get the whole thing shut down. Not good.
Yeah, and it's just like an element of just not respecting the culture a little bit there too.
Right.
Like you're placing your activism above that, and
right.
Not the best look. Ashley Kresge says, so excited for you guys to see your new stuff. Best of luck on this new path. You keep me sane for real.
Yeah.
Smile emoji with a tear, maybe.
Oh. Yeah. And just so you know, everything is going to be here. So I see a ton of you still asking, like, is this going to be on a new channel? Is it going to be on a new place? Everything is going to be right here. Like the Unapologetic might drop off the name here on YouTube. We're going to change like the banner and a little bit of the look and the vibe of the channel, but everything is going to be is going to be the same. Everything is going to be changing. Sorry. So if you're like looking over the weekend and like the banner changes or the profile picture changes, this is all normal. The channel is still going to be here, right where you're at right now, listening to this. I
feel like the Michael Scott gif. Oh my God, it's happening. Let's see. Addie Emma says, Amala, please consider starting a book club. I'm always making note of your book recs through your videos and interviews, but I'd love to see an Amala book club.
Maybe that's what I need to do, because your girl needs to read more. Maybe it would encourage me to read more, and we can have like a system of accountability within that. Maybe that's something I need to consider. You guys let me know if you guys are, if y'all reading like that. Are y'all really reading like that?
Yeah, maybe we could do like a upvote a book, like nominate some books on the Discord and upvote the one that we should read that month, and I'd be down for that.
I'm gonna put a bunch of like cheeseball books in there. It's gonna be like romance novels.
The Hunger
you guys
Games
can
prequels.
vote on. Yeah, let's read the Hunger Games trilogy again. Let's do analysis on that. Now that if we led with the Hunger Games, we'd be doing book club for hours every single day.
I was like, y'all take a seat. Let me break this down for y'all. Yeah, that'd be me on Lord of the Rings. So
yeah, exactly.
Can't hate too
Buckle
much.
in.
I always do a shameless plug though. My wife has a Bookstagram. She's the biggest bookworm I know. Yep. So if you're into books, you should follow her. It's Ansley Books, ANSLEY books on Instagram. She reads all kinds of stuff, mostly fiction, but nonfiction, all of that. So it was cool. This last week we were in DC at the National Gallery of Art, and she's reading this book on Abraham Lincoln that I had bought, and she read it after me. But actually, she finished it before I did because I never finished books. But anyway, we're walking through the Gallery of Art, and the portrait of Lincoln that is on the book that she's reading was right on the wall in front of us.
Dope.
And she had been carrying that book around with her that day because it was like, baby, we'll go to Lincoln Memorial or something. She can take a pic for the Bookstagram. It was like the actual portrait that what they used on the book cover was right in front of us at the gallery. So she took that picture.
That is
Anyways,
super fun.
crazy.
Yeah, that's always nice. It's nice to have those little moments. And guys,
serendipitous.
I mean, like that opens up another discussion. Like, drop in the comments what you guys want to see content wise, because this is a whole new thing that we can like build to your preferences and, you know, see what you want to see. Of course, we'll like crowdsource and get all your opinions on it. Maybe we'll do some polls in the future or survey for what you guys want to see, and you know, this can build out in whatever direction you feel like best suits you. So yeah,
the world is our oyster. It's a blank canvas.
The
guys.
world is the oyster. I don't know what accent that was.
J-Man says Amal Epinobi for president 2028. American
Hell yeah.
Languages. I don't even think that you'd be of legal age.
No, I wouldn't. I'd have to be 35. So wait, what year would that be? Because I turned 35 in 2035. Would it be 2036 or would it be 2038? I don't know. You guys do the math.
Well,
if I can't do the math, I shouldn't be president.
If you have to do math to determine your age, that's tough.
I just don't know what the election year would be. So whatever it was, I'm not 35.
But whenever it is, mark it on your calendars.
Nowhere near 35.
LG says, don't collab with Brett Cooper. I have her blocked because she said Lord of the Rings is boring. LOL. Based. I'm sorry. Watch Nana, not all the other lame anime you got recommended.
Nana? I've not heard of this. Nana. I'm gonna have to look it up. The other ones that people tell me to watch are like Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man, which I have not seen. My Hero Academia, haven't seen it. Nana. Okay, I've looked it up. It's noted. It says genre's romance. So right up my alley, guys. Hopeless romantic.
I just love that you're canceling Brett Cooper because, I mean, look, my wife thinks Lord of the Rings is boring, at least movies, so I get it. But
still
I
haven't
also
watched
don't
it.
get it because they're the greatest books ever written. So it's fine. And best movies ever made. So. But anyways, Madeline Glidewell says, I watch you every day, but I had to give my first super chat today to say how excited I am to follow along in your new chapter.
Guys.
I so much appreciate all you and all that you do.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you guys. I'm so excited to like literally just get started and take you guys on the ride. So this will be fun.
Alex says, Amala, that girl was very average, 29 and choosing to be single. Amalu and Risa gets a boyfriend. Watch, she's going to meet the 666 standards with Riz and Charm.
We'll see. She just might. You know, there's hope for all of the girls out there. Who knows? So far, it hasn't happened. So far, the men are not stepping up. Also, if you haven't seen my best friend Risa, we have a second channel. It's called Omri Unfiltered. You guys can go and follow it. We just talk about like dating stuff and fun little TikTok things that have nothing to do with this show. So you can see my best friend Risa. And if you're a guy right now who's also looking for a girl, send in your boyfriend application in the YouTube comments.
Funnel that somewhere besides the DMs.
Yeah, not to Risa's DM, please. Don't scare her. Don't scare her.
She's just got so many now. It's fine. Aaron Gaden says Biden Labor Department will force independent contractors into becoming employees on October 7th, patterned after the California law from 2020.
That doesn't sound good. I don't know how that works logistically, but that does not sound like a good choice. But I'll have to read about it. I can't speak. I can't say anything. No comment.
My mind
No
just went to Star Wars, the first one, when they're like, my lord, is that legal? And he's like, I will make it legal.
I've not seen that either.
This is where, I need the Cam. Do you remember Star Wars, the Phantom Menace first episode?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you know that.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course? Okay, guys.
This is, This is where we round each other out here. Hamla doesn't get the Lord of the Rings and Star Wars prequel references.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I'll have all the Hunger Games, Divergent stuff, all the girl stuff, and Taylor will have all the nerd stuff.
Taylor will have all the loser stuff. Kaylee Esquivel says, I'm going to miss you. You're the one who made me leave the crazy leftists.
Miss me? I'm right here. Guys, you have to
we're not leaving.
We're not going anywhere.
I mean, we're leaving,
here.
but not leaving.
We're leaving, but we're not leaving. Like, you won't find us on PragerU.com anymore or like on their main page stuff. So if you're watching that's not on the main page, then we won't be there anymore. But we're going to be here. I mean, not physically here, but we're going to be screen-wise right here.
It's not going to change for you.
So you don't have to miss me. It's so funny because I feel like I explained that in the caption and then all these people were like, it's so sad. Like, I'm never going to see you again or whatever. And I'm like, guys, I'm literally I'm right here.
You're dead.
I'm still here.
R.I.P. Amala. It's been real.
It's been real, girls.
Okay. Andy Oso just sends a super chat in British pounds. Thank you. No message.
Thank you very much.
And Troy, the X-Ray boy, sends a super chat. No message. Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Troy.
Peter is my first name. Says, I thought it was over and called 911. I guess I should call 119 and tell them never mind.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not over, guys. It's not over till it's over.
And I think that's our last one. So
thank
you all for the super
dokie. Oh, one who says, please do a collab with Lauren Chen. I do like Lauren Chen. Maybe I'll have to hit her up. Maybe we can do like a Mediaholic collab where we talk about movies and stuff because y'all know that's right up our alley. There's so many people we have to bring back. Yeah, I think next week we have a special guest. So I'm excited for you guys to see. He's going to be on the show on Wednesday. So that'll be fun. And we're bringing it back to our roots. You guys know what that means if you're watching the show often. Anyways, guys, that's our show for today. That's the big announcement. Thank you guys for sticking around. We appreciate all your support and hopefully your continued support in this new venture, this new endeavor, this new path we're going down. It is the weekend, so have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully it's filled with fun. Let me know what your weekend plans are, as always, in the chat down below. We're going to be back Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern with our normal, average, everyday show. But it's not going to be normal or average, is it? We're going to be on a new set, baby. Okay? So, again, if you see things changing on the channel over the weekend, new pictures, new this, new that, whatever, it's normal. We're just doing all of our work on the back end, me and Taylor, in our little dungeons working on this stuff. So, fret not, we will be back. I still don't know what accent that was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time we're live and every single time we post a video for you guys, which is virtually every day and will continue every day. Bye, guys. Peace out.